We have new developments tonight in our nearly year-long investigation into a student's expulsion from a private Episcopal school in Shreveport. Well, good evening. I'm Marie Waxel. Doug and Dominique are both on assignment tonight. We first reported in April how a Shreveport mother filed a federal lawsuit against St. Mark's Cathedral School for expelling her son, who they claim displayed sexual misconduct with other students during a school field trip back in 2014. The mother denies the allegation but wants to know if it was true, why wasn't the case reported to authorities under the state's mandatory reporter law. Reporter Nick Lawton has obtained new documents showing police and the district attorney's office looked into this case, and for the first time the head of the school is breaking his silence in this KSLA News 12 investigation.
Defamation, disparate treatment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Those are some of the claims levied against St. Mark's Cathedral School in Shreveport, according to one mother's federal lawsuit. In it, she says her son, identified as MR, was expelled from St. Mark's in October 2014. His dismissal certificate reads he was expelled for, quote, inappropriate touching of other students when not in the presence of adults, end quote, on a school field trip. According to her lawsuit, weeks of therapy with local psychologists cleared MR of any sexually deviant behavior. The mother, who we are not naming or showing to protect her son's identity, is suing for unspecified monetary damages. She also wants her son to be re-enrolled in the school and to make sure nothing like this happens again.
Because this needs to be heard. It may be other children or people affected.
The boy's mom denies her son would do what he's accused of, but wants to know if it was true, then why didn't the head of school, Dr. Chris Carter, follow the state mandatory reporter law and report it to police?
By the law, if you even suspected that, first and foremost, you ought to report it.
Both Shreveport Police and the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office said they never received any reports from St. Mark's about MR or any sexual abuse at the end of 2014. But new documentation uncovered by KSLA shows the incidents were looked into. A complaint of a failure to mandatory report was filed against Carter in August of 2015, 2 months before the mother filed her lawsuit. The police offense report states Carter, as head of school, fits the description of a mandatory reporter, and both Shreveport Police and the Caddo Parish District Attorney's Office investigated. We called Carter again, asking why he did not report. He referred us to his attorney, Jim McMichael, who sent us an emailed response from Carter talking about the complaint, saying, quote, both agencies concluded that there was no violation of any law and that Dr. Carter and St. Mark's were exceptionally cleared, end quote. The offense report reads 8 days after the complaint was filed, a Shreveport police officer and Assistant DA Ben Langford interviewed Carter. In the report, Carter acknowledged he had not made a mandatory report, that he didn't believe the incidents between the children, student on student, met the criteria for mandatory reporting. The case was then closed and cleared, with no charges being filed. The mother then filed her federal civil lawsuit. Louisiana state law revised statute 14403 requires educators to report child sexual abuse, and willfully not doing so is criminal. Now, the assistant DA who responded to this complaint, Ben Langford, resigned shortly after current district attorney James Stewart took office last December. After a month of calls and voicemails, Stewart finally called us back and said he could not comment on this case because it was a decision made prior to his administration. But First Assistant DA Laura Folco sat down with us to talk, not specifically about this case, but about the law itself and the cost of failing to mandatory report.
It's a misdemeanor, so it's punishable at up to 6 months in jail with a $500 fine.
Folco told us what makes failing to report more serious is in the intent.
It is a knowing and willful failure to report, which makes the behavior criminal. You can first find out, number one, if the person was trained. Is there any training that the person had so that they knew that they were a mandatory reporter?
KSLA found out there is online training, which Reverend Jacob Owensby, the 4th Bishop of Western Louisiana, acknowledged all faculty, staff, and administration serving in their schools are required to take. Quote, be trained by and to adhere to the policies and procedures outlined in the Safeguarding God's Children program. By those requirements, Dr. Carter would have had to take and follow the rules of the program. Dr. Carter's attorney confirmed to us he did take that specific training. But McMichael, Dr. Carter's attorney, sent a letter Tuesday reiterating, quote, there is no truth to the allegation that Dr. Carter or St. Mark's were under any duty to report sexual abuse in this instance, nor was there any sexual abuse to report, end quote.
What the person said when questioned as to why they didn't report would be something that you could look into.
No criminal charges have been filed in this case. The mother's civil suit in federal court is set for a 2017 court date. Reporting in Shreveport, Nick Lawton, KSLA, News 12.
In the letter we received from Dr. Carter's attorney today, it was again stated that, quote, Dr. Carter and St. Mark's absolutely deny all of her claims and believe the suit should and will be dismissed, end quote.